Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Haunt Talk. In today's episode, we are going to be reviewing Blood Prison in Mansfield at the Ohio State Reformatory. But before we do that, just a reminder, we do have our new movie on Amazon Prime, free for Prime members, right for 99 cents. Please watch it. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Also join us over on Facebook. We're nearing the end of haunt season, so it's going to probably be soon the end of our haunt reviews here, but we do have some plans for some other stuff that we had plans to do last year we didn't get to do. So stay tuned for that. And also, if you have any suggestions for things you'd like to see us do that isn't exactly haunted house reviews, let us know what you would be interested in. But that being said, we will go ahead and get into the review. So this year they are a lot more limited in what they could do at Blood Prison, because I guess they didn't know for sure if they could open up in time, basically. So there's a lot of stuff cut. And while we do understand, that happened and that does kind of suck and that's not their fault, we still have to review on what we saw. And just to get it out of the gate, just to state it, it is a much lesser show because of it.
Yes. So we'll move into sets and props, into that. They had a lot of the stuff, like, basically the scenes that are missing are, like, anything that had to do with any of the cell blocks. Which, I mean, if you've been to the reformatory, there's two huge cell blocks. So it was basically everything that was in the basement, solitary, the whole, that kind of area. But, I mean, that's a huge area. Those two cell blocks are really big.
Right. And, I mean, like, there were scenes, if you watched our, they were a Haunt of the Year for the last 2 years in a row. I mean, last year they had an entire aircraft they had there. They had built a cave that went outside of the place.
Oh, yeah.
There was a huge church scene. Like, there was a lot of scenes, a huge zombie scene with crashed cars.
Yep.
And, I mean, and none of that, of course, is there this year. And, again, not their fault. But, that is something that is not there. So, also, I will say, if you're watching this and, let's say you went there already this year, or you plan on going this year, know that more than likely next year it'll be back to the way it was. So if you were disappointed this year, just know that it's usually a lot better. And that's not to say that it was bad this year. The sets and props that were there were still very good.
Oh, yeah. For sure. I mean, there's like a house.
Mm-hmm.
Like a full house facade in there.
Very elaborate.
Very elaborate. Mm-hmm. Very cool. But, yeah, it definitely took away from it just a little.
They did seem, the basement scene seemed to have more. There's a lot of stuff I don't remember.
Yeah.
It seemed a lot more detailed. It's kind of like a messed up hospital scene in the basement area. A lot of it is. Just like hospital torture people, stuff like that.
Yeah. A lot of meat hooks.
Yeah, a lot of meat hooks, and that kind of thing. And there was like I think there was like kind of like a sewer scene and stuff, because there was a big rat puppet that came out and attacked us. It kind of looked like a sewer. And you do still get to go through solitary confinement, like she was saying, which is they usually just have that completely dark, which was the same way it was this time. But yeah, there wasn't a ton of scenes, and it did seem like there's a little bit more black maze than there usually is, and maybe there really wasn't more so. It just was more noticeable because of the fact that the haunt was shorter, because we were missing the other stuff.
Yeah.
But again, for sets and props, what was there was still good. We gave it an 8.5.
So moving on to actors. They had a lot of really cool Q-line actors.
Mm-hmm.
There was a slider guy that was walking around. He was really good. There were some police officers that were walking around. There was a guy on stilts.
Yes.
And I do have to say, don't touch the actors. Regardless if they're in the house or out in the queue and you want to take a picture with them, don't touch them.
Yeah.
It's rude.
It's just amazing that that's the thing that we have to see. But there's a full-grown adult that, grabbed the actor.
Yeah, and it was like, especially right now, when you're not supposed to be touching people you don't know, don't do that.
Or just ever,
just don't do that.
Touch the actors, yeah.
Don't touch them.
Yeah.
Ever. It's rude.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway.
Yeah. But a lot of the actors were good. There was some spots that were lacking in actors. We wish they were a little more aggressive this year, and now they're not allowed to touch like in previous years past, which we'll get more into that in Scare Factor. But still, it would have been nice for them to be a little more aggressive. Some of them just kind of stood there in spots, and they do conga line us. And of course, we waited in line for over 2 hours for this, almost 2.5 hours, and we were the last one in our group's line. And the group we were with was, the people we were talking about that were touching the actor previously. So obviously they weren't the best people to have in the group. We always get stuck with like the absolute worst humans. I think it's just because most humans suck. But I mean, that's... But yeah. Most of the actors are pretty good. They had some dialogue. So we wish there was a little bit more, and that some of them were a little bit more aggressive. Like if everyone had those Q actor line energy, that would be amazing. Which not everyone can be like that, but the chainsaw guy in the basement, he was pretty cool. He was pretty aggressive.
There were creepy dolls. They were pretty cool. Big question: was there like a sale on purge masks? Because I swear I saw like 3 people with the God mask on. And I'm like, that's a purge mask?
Yeah, so
I don't know if there's another one. Oh, look, there's another one.
There's nothing that read purge themed to me because it was inside the house.
Yeah.
But there's also a lot of dolls, and it kind of almost looks like a
yeah,
doll
they're
thing.
kind of dollish, but I mean, they say God on them.
Yeah, they are purge masks.
And you know that that's purge. I mean, I've only seen like one whole purge, and I know that that's a purge mask, you know?
Besides that, though, most of the costuming was really good and stuff, and the masks are really elaborate and all of that. But yeah, again, there was just some real key things that were missing from the actors that I've liked, in previous years. But again, it was a shorter show. But the ones that were there, for the majority, were pretty good.
Yeah.
So we gave actors an 8. So next on to Scare Factor. This is probably the one that got hurt the most by not having that touch pass, because man, is that awesome. I'm really hoping they can bring back the touch pass next year.
Yeah.
I mean, it's very obvious why they couldn't this year, but man, it really, really affected it. Like, just being, someone would just grab you by the throat and just take you places. Like, it was pretty freaky, and it was very interactive, and I really missed that. There's still some pretty scary spots. They still have some of the most ridiculous air cannons I've ever seen in a haunted house.
I want to read his notes because I like what he wrote. Stupid big dumb air cannons. The one was so aggressive, it literally blew my hair. Like, we just walked into this haunted house and my hair just goes all over, and I'm just like trying to fix my hair. I'm like, what is going on? Yeah. Air cannons suck.
Yeah.
But they're really good at scaring.
I hate air cannons so much. God, I hate them so much. Because they always scare the shit out of me. And I just, I hate them. I hate them so much. But, yeah, besides that, I didn't really get too many jump scares. There's a couple actors that gave me a small startle, but really not too much. Walking through solitary is always freaky. That's one of the freakier things, just, pure darkness. And it was really freaky before when someone just randomly come up and just grab you by the neck and you just had no idea where they came from.
Yes.
They would, bang on things, though. None of them really even got close either, which, some of them, well, in the solitary area, none of them got close. There were actors that did get close, though. But none really up in our face or anything like that. And I assume they were probably told not to do that because. But yeah, Still, it's not a place I would recommend taking young kids to, just because it is a giant, scary prison and that. But and knowing what the scare factor usually is for us to what it is this time, it's just kind of, left a bit to be desired. But we gave scare factor a 7.5. Still decently scary. If you're not someone like us that goes to a lot of haunted houses, you probably will find it a little more scary than we did. But
yeah. So moving on to value. It's $25 for a regular general admission. It's $55 if you want the fast pass.
Mm-hmm.
And it took us about 20 minutes to get through it.
Yeah. So now usually it takes about 40 to 45 minutes to get through this. So it is about halved in length. Something that does kind of irritate me is the price for admission has stayed the same. I really think that it would have been nice to at least knock $5 off, because right on the website it tells you, like, the show's not going to be as good. Like, it literally says that where you purchase the tickets. It's like, there's a lot of stuff that's cut. It's like, we've been to a couple other ones, and they at least knocked it down. Like, this place is insanely busy. Again, we waited 2.5 hours in line, and when we got done, the line was probably like 3 or 4 hours long. Like, it was absolutely insane. Like, they're making a fair amount of money, and I just think it would be a little bit nicer to do that. And then the Fast Pass, it used to be $35 for a Fast Pass, and they also had something called a Lightning Pass, which was like directly front of the line, plus you got a Touch Pass for $45. So that's actually increased all the way up to $55.
Yeah, that's a
which
lot.
is that's a lot. That's more than double the price to get in. I just feel like maybe, like, I understand if they wanted to do the Lightning one just because I don't know. I really don't know, like, because regulations and stuff they have to do, that they wanted to make sure that the Fast Pass is a little bit more, since they don't have 3 options. But, like, they could have kept the $45 one and not done the $55.
Yeah.
So it's just weird to me that it's $25 and then $55 when the haunt is half the time. So value, we were even a little bit. It's still 20 minutes long, which is a decently length haunted house, but we gave it a 7, which I just feel might be a little bit generous, just because of the fact that, I just think that the cost should be reduced this year instead of the same, and then Fast Pass more.
Yeah.
That just seems weird to me. I mean, I don't know. It's strange.
Mm-hmm. For sure. So that brings us to our overall score. We gave them an 8.
Mm-hmm. I would say it's still worth going. Just if you've never been there before and want to experience it the best way, I'd probably wait till next year. If you've been there before and just wondering if it's good enough to at least go, it is. I would get there early though, because do not pay $55 for a Fast Pass. That's insane. But also, you don't want to wait 2 to 3 hours. Like, I was freezing and miserable at the time we went in there. So if you do plan on going, especially if you're watching this, if you're going this year, because I'm sure it'll be better next year. So if you're going, if you're watching this in 2021, you shouldn't have watched this review. You need to go watch the one from 2019 or 2018 that we did, because that's probably going to be more accurate. If you're watching this and like, I want to go somewhere Halloween weekend, where I'm thinking about going to Mansfield, I would recommend still going, get there early, and then maybe go to something like Trail of Nightmares or Mohican Haunted Schoolhouse afterwards. Make one of those like your second haunt.
Yeah.
But you want to do this one first, and you want to get there before they open at 7,
Yes.
so you can be one of the first in line, so you're not waiting over an hour. That would be my recommendation to you. But yeah, I mean, they still do a good job, and I'm really looking forward to next year, if we get to make it there, to see it back in its true form.
Right.
But that does it for this review, guys. If you've been there this year, what did you think about it? Was this your first time, or you're returning? Did you have a better experience than us, a worse experience? Just let us know. And that being said, we will see you guys in the next video.
Bye.